Hey Bryce, how you doing? Great job. Thanks for kicking things off, by the way. That's not always the easiest thing to do, so I really appreciate taking the plunge, so to speak. So these are great. I think it's very, very clear your ideas here. It's actually it's a really good narrative, step by step. You're showing the situation, you're showing the problem, and I thought this was interesting too, right here. So, nope, I can't do that because I'll burn my hands. Right now, what? And then, aha, then the implementation and then the final outcome. So that's great. I think it's fantastic. Good job using. You got 12 sketches here. You got 12 steps in the linear narrative. So that's fantastic. I think any less than that is kind of risking that the ideas aren't going to be specifically clear. So that's good. That's a good. And I had recommended at least using 10 to 12 sketches at least. So good job. Now, the only thing I'm seeing here, and I think between this and the next step, we got to figure out how to get each of these out of these individual little boxes. So right now, this is just really super regimented. Okay, so this is box one. This is box two. I'd like to figure out a way that we can get each of these sketches kind of a relationship to the whole. In other words, so each sketch kind of fits in like this kind of flowing narrative, um, that's not confined to these individual boxes where we go, okay, this is one, this is two. So in other words, more of an organic flow. The examples that I liked to use in the class with the guy with the beard shaving with the machete. Now that started out and it kind of moved in a clockwise manner. And I think that was very effective. And I think breaking these out of the boxes, I think is really going to create a nice, clean approach and a very understandable approach as opposed to this regimented, okay, this is what happens in this frame. Then we move to this frame. Then we move to this frame. So I'd like to see like a more organic relationship between each of the frames, each frame with its neighbor as well as each frame and its relationship with the whole, so to speak. So try to figure that out. And one of the things you'll try to figure out there is how can you tie each illustration together in a way that it flows logically and naturally without putting them in these numbered boxes. And I think one of the ways to do that is to indicate a sort of a timeline. So in other words, like a trail that follows, that you can follow the trail to see which sketch comes next. And in the example with the machete, the hair with the shaving with the machete, each of those little sketches was joined by little locks of the guy's hair. Remember his beard, his red beard, and each little curly locks joined one sketch to the next, kind of unifying the whole thing. And in the example with the bee's nest, those were all connected with the path of the bee. So that was really interesting here. So try to think of what you can use here. Now, my first initial thought is using spearheads. So you have the sketch with the meat, and then you have a spearhead, trail of spearheads, little spearheads, going to the next sketch, and that's the fire. Then a little trail of spearheads. So the trail of spearheads is making it as like kind of organic path where you're following the narrative. Okay, so that's what I'd like to see you work on now is how you're going to break this out of the boxes and give it an organic flow. All right, great job, man. Appreciate it. Hey, if you have any questions, give me a holler. I'll be glad to clarify anything. Thank you very much.